Welcome back to Success with Steven. My name is Steven Smith. On this channel, we discuss all things financial literacy. And today I'm going to show you how to remove late payments from your credit report if you don't have any inaccuracies. Now, this will be an update on two fronts. It's an update to an alternative method that I created in 2025. You probably have already seen that video. In that video, I showed you how to dispute late payments by actually comparing two different credit reports that had inaccuracies. Now, for some people, they have reports where all the information is consistent between all three bureaus. So if that is you, then that's why I'm creating this video. The second update is that this method does not require the CFPB. So I'm happy to say that at this time, the CFPB is currently still open and you can submit your disputes through them. However, I did want to update and create an alternative method just in case something does happen. However, the CFPB is my preferred method and they are still open once again at the time of recording this video. If you had to pick a method, I think it's the easiest one. It's the one that's very straightforward, but I will be giving you the alternative in this video. Now, if you want to watch the CFPB late payment removal video and the previous method that I made last year, then I'm going to link that video at the end of this one so you can check that one out. And later, I'll create a compilation for all of the late payment removal videos with the alternative methods. Now, without further ado, let's get right into the video. Before you can dispute information on your credit report, you need to know how to view it. Now, the only free report that's authorized by the federal government is annualcreditreport.com. This is the most accurate report. You can get it free weekly online, and that's going to be for Equifax, for Experian, and for TransUnion. Now, credit reports play an important role in your financial life. I encourage everyone watching this to check your report regularly. I check mine every single Sunday just to make sure that there has been no changes with my report. I also get notifications from the credit services that I do use that do report any updates. Now, Identity IQ was another option that you can use. However, for the method that we're using today, you don't really need to compare it to any other report if you know all the information is consistent. Now, if you view your report and let's say you have a 30-day late payment on 1 month, but on another bureau that same month is paid on time, I recommend you watch my other video and you might want to consider getting Identity IQ. You can start a trial for $1. The link is in the description. Now, this is an example of an old credit report of mine from 2022. It was with Capital One and it had 4 consecutive late payments, 30, 60, 90. There really isn't much to explain in this example because we're going to be disputing this. The information should be the same on Experian. It should be the same on TransUnion. It should be the same on Equifax. So if all three of them are reporting the exact same information, of course, there's no way for us to dispute it as an inaccuracy. But I'm going to show you some verbiage that you can use to get this information updated. The reason why I'm showing you this example is because when you take a screenshot of your report, you should include the account number with the X's. That's completely fine. You want to include the account name, and this is what you're going to send to the credit bureaus. You can screenshot it from just one credit bureau. It's fine because all the information should be the exact same. When you submit the dispute for this alternative method, you will need to send one dispute to each bureau. If you prefer the CFPB method, you can actually send one dispute to all three bureaus at the same time. It just takes less work. So once again, if you want to see that method, the link is at the end of the video, but this one will have an alternative if the CFPB is not around. All the information that I'm discussing in this video is coming from the FCRA. In the previous video, guys, we went through this. I talked about the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and this is the federal law that protects consumers from inaccurate, unfair, or intrusive credit reporting. It also regulates how consumer reporting agencies collect, use, and share your information. Now, I'm not going to go through this because we already went through it in the other video. The main thing that I want you to understand is your information needs to be accurate in order for it to be reported. So if the information is inaccurate or you claim that it's inaccurate and you have reasonable cause to believe it could be inaccurate, then you can dispute the information. Okay. Again, I'll put the link for this in the description if you want to go through it. But in the previous video, we already talked about this. So this is the late payment verbiage that we're going to be using. You can copy this verbatim if you like. I recommend that you try to change it up a bit. If it's the same verbiage over and over again, you know, it might get noticed. So just know if you have something similar, it's fine. I just recommend that you change it just a little bit. If you have a credit report right now, all three of the bureaus have the exact same late payments. This is what you send. I recently reviewed my credit report and noticed an account that was not reporting accurately. I had 2 late payments on an account that was in fact paid on time. The consumer reporting agency needs to report all information with complete accuracy. This account has not been late on payments. I've attached a copy of my report to this complaint on the following dates. You would then insert the date. You always do month and then the year. I'm now requesting you investigate this account and update these payments on time immediately. Thank you for your understanding and promptness. Now, here's the thing, guys. The reason why we're disputing this is not because the information is in fact inaccurate. The information might actually be accurate, but it's not your job to prove that. The burden of proof is on the consumer reporting agencies. So it's up to them to be able to actually verify this as accurate or not. I recommend that you never do more than 2 late payments at the same time. Don't dispute more than 2. If you ever get, let's say, the account verified after round 2, you might want to consider only disputing 1 at a time. In my experience, I noticed the more changes you try to make at one time, the less likely it is to happen. With late payments, sometimes when you only try to just change 1, it makes it so much easier. So this is what you would do. Start with your first 30-day late payment. You're going to send this. If you want to do 2 late payments, then you can. Again, no more than 2, but if you want to start with 1, that's okay too. This is what's going to happen. Either 1, they're going to update your report and they're going to change that 30-day late payment to paid on time. That would be wonderful. Why? If they just change 1 report, let's say TransUnion and Experian don't change it, but Equifax does. You can now go to my previous video because now that one's shown paid on time. Now we have an inaccuracy that we can then show to the other 2 bureaus and say, hey, Equifax is reporting that this account paid on time, but you're not. Update it. Now we can get them all paid on time and we can repeat this process. It also becomes easier because if you have a 30-day late payment that's now showing paid on time, and then the next payment is 60 days late, that's inaccurate. How did it go from 30 to 60? Now, you don't have to use that excuse. You can just use this round 1 over and over and over again, and then tell the other bureaus when one of them gets updated, it doesn't matter which bureau does it, as long as one of them does it, you can then say, hey, Experian says this account is paid on time, but for whatever reason, TransUnion, you don't have it paid on time, and Equifax, you don't have it paid on time. They're right, you're wrong, update immediately. And then all of a sudden, they all start getting changed. That's one example of what can happen. Here's scenario number 2. They say that the account's verified. Well, now that they say that your late payment is verified, you're going to send this. I am now requesting proof of the previous investigation. I'm asking that you send me your method of investigation along with all records of who you spoke with, their business address, their name, their phone number, as well as documentation that proves this account was late. If you cannot provide me with this information in 15 days, update the account to paid never late and send me a copy of my updated credit report. All right? That's what you would send for round 2. Let's say if you went past round 2, at that point, it doesn't really matter what you say. The point is that you start to ask them for additional information to verify the account. What I like to ask for is send me the transcript of the conversation that you had with the representative at the bureaus or the representative at the bank that said this was late. Send me this, send me that. The more specific you get with the information that you're asking for, the less likely that they're going to provide it, the more likely it is that the account will get updated. So if you had to go past round 2, that's what I would do. Most of the time, though, you can at least get one of them changed with one bureau, And now you can fall back on my previous method and then you can get it changed that way. That's how you would need to do this. I hope this seems very straightforward. I hope this makes a lot of sense. With every investigation, please don't forget this. You need to send a copy of your driver's license, a copy of your proof of address. You also want to send a copy of your social security card. You need to have all three documents. If you don't provide them with a screenshot as well of the account that you're disputing, they're going to try to stall it out and say that they can't verify you. And then you'll have to send the dispute again with those additional documents. All right. So please make sure that you add that before you submit your dispute. Now, I hope once again that this makes perfect sense and that it seems fairly easy and straightforward. I'm going to show you how to submit this dispute. At the time of recording this video, I just want to overemphasize this. The CFPB is open. The reason why I'm saying this is because when you submit a dispute through the CFPB, you can send round one and then you can choose to send it to all three bureaus. The other method that we're going to use is sending this through the Better Business Bureau. The only reason why I don't like doing it that way is because you have to send this 3 times, one to Experian, one to Equifax, one to TransUnion. So it takes longer. With the CFPB, you can do this one time. It goes to all 3 and creates 3 separate disputes. So while they're still open, I just want to overemphasize it is the easier method. However, you can also use this alternative with the Better Business Bureau if anything happens with the CFPB, okay? And that's what I'm going to be showing you now. All right, so currently we are on the Better Business Bureau website and we are going to file a complaint. As soon as you get to the website, you can scroll down. File a complaint is an option that's right on the front. Click on that and you'll want to select the first option. I'd like to file a complaint against a business and have BBB help me get a resolution to my problem. So we're going to select that. You'll then click on file a complaint. Now we need to find the business that we're going to dispute. So just like I said before, and some people kept asking me, guys, just if you don't know the PO box to Experian, then Google it. All right. Or to TransUnion or to Equifax, whichever is the respective bureau that you're disputing. All right. So I found Experian. I'm going to click on that and then I'm going to search here. And again, all of this is going to come up and you'll see all these different options and you want to pick the correct one. If you don't know it, then Google it. I'll just use the 9701 Allen, Texas. Let's select this one. And is this complaint solely about buyer's remorse? The answer is going to be no to all of these questions, but you should go through them, still read because options might change. Is your complaint based solely on a price? No. Are you solely seeking an apology from a business? No. Are you filing this complaint for BBB information only? No. Is your complaint solely about discrimination or civil rights violations? The answer is no. Is this an employee complaint? No. Does the complaint seek criminal penalty? No. Has this complaint been filed in court? The answer is no. Are you a business attempting to collect money from another business? The answer is no. So we're going to hit continue. Now, this is very important. I've been saying it in all the videos. You need to ensure that you're using an email address that you can be contacted on. If you are not using an email address that you can be contacted on, or it's like a burner email, they will not be able to continue with your dispute because in 24 hours, they will ask you to respond to the dispute and they will send this to you via email, okay? You need to respond to the Better Business Bureau when they send you that email because the email is going to ask you to verify that you are the one who sent this dispute. And if you do not verify and acknowledge, then they will just throw it out and it will never be sent to the bureaus, okay? So make sure that you do that. So in step 1, it's to tell us about yourself. We've already done that. Now we're in step 2. We're telling the BBB about our complaint. It says, note, to help others evaluate this business, your complaint details may be added to the business profile for this business on the bbb.org. Please do not include any personally identifiable information, including credit card numbers or your social security numbers when you tell us about your problem. BBB may edit your complaint to protect the privacy rights of yourself and others. So the reason why they say this is because they might publish this information on their profile, okay? So they don't want you to actually put that information there because it's private and sensitive information. However, like I told you before, you do need to add the picture of your driver's license, the picture of your social security card or your birth certificate or your passport. You can use any one of those. And then you also do need your proof of address. That can be a bank statement. That could be your voter's registration card. That could be your insurance. That could be, a utility bill is usually the one that you want to use. All right. Now, you always want to say this issue did occur in the last 12 months. And does your complaint involve a health issue or a healthcare provider? The answer is no. You're going to copy the verbiage that we initially discussed, and then you're going to also add the information. Now, again, you don't have to put 2 late payments. You could just put late payment. That's up to you. I recommend that you use 1. Some people want to do it faster and they want to do 2. That's fine. You can do that. But I will say, for whatever reason, if it didn't get changed, you may want to go down to just using 1. All right. Don't forget to insert your dates. All right. And that's going to be month and year. Now, if you want, then you could enter the account number or account information there. You kind of don't have to. You could just enter simply the account name. If there's an amount of money involved, which there shouldn't be, but you can enter that here. When you go to desired resolution, then you'll want to put a correction to a credit report. You'll also want to add your supporting documentation here. This is where you add your identification documents. You also add that screenshot of your credit report, and then you're going to click continue. You need to enter your address. It just helps them identify you. I didn't enter that information here. They'll always require you to enter your zip code. We have our dispute here. You would have uploaded your documents, your driver's license, your screenshot, or everything that we just spoke about. You don't need to enter this optional section here. If you are a U.S. active duty service member and you want to disclose that information, then you can. Would you be willing to help the BBB with our complaint by answering some additional questions? If you want, you could, but you don't have to. That's just an option. That's for their demographic information. Now, these 3, I have read and agreed to the complaint submission terms. You do need to do that. You need to authorize to communicate with the BBB, and then you need to consent to the information here, and then you'll need to hit submit. Once you have done all of this, your complaint is completed. All right. In about 24 hours, the BBB will send an email asking you to verify if you were the one that sent this complaint. When they ask you about that, you need to confirm it, and they're going to take you to a portal where they're going to ask you to enter a code that they will send you. You go to the portal, you acknowledge that you are the person that sent this complaint, and then they're going to send you some follow-up emails, but you don't need to respond to them. They're just going to let you know the status of the dispute. From there, you will wait and see what the credit bureaus say. Once again, they'll either 1, update it, and it may get updated by TransUnion, it may get updated by Equifax, by Experian, which you will have to do this 3 times, okay? This is just Experian. You would go back and send this 3 times. If the BBB doesn't allow you to send multiple disputes, sometimes they make it a limit if you do the same one. Open up a new web browser, open up an incognito or private window, try to do it from your phone or a different IP address, something like that. Once again, I recommend the CFPB. It makes it way easier, but if they're not around, here's your alternative, okay? It'll either be the update to one of the 3 bureaus, and then you can watch my previous video. And then when you watch that video, you can use the inaccuracy dispute to get the rest of them changed. And you keep doing that until your account is completely paid on time with no more late payments. Once again, I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate your support. I appreciate your patronage. If this content was helpful to you, please like and subscribe, share with anybody who you know might need this information. And again, just please, if you go back to that previous video, there's definitely an important part in that video where I talk about the FCRA. I continuously say in these videos, because I don't know who's watching this or the time that they're watching this. I'm not a credit repair specialist. I make these videos just because you need to have good credit in order to do all the other things that I talk about on this channel. I don't do credit repair. I'm not a credit repair specialist. I cannot repair your credit. These are just DIY tips that I did to repair my own credit. I did everything myself, and I recommend that you do the same thing just so that you have this solution in the future. And if you understand the FCRA, then you'll understand your rights. And if something else were to happen later, you would know what to do, because I don't know if I'll be making content like this later down the line. So once again, thank you so much for watching this. I appreciate all your support, and you guys have a wonderful day.